So, Ash, so nice to have you here on the Frames channel. I just discovered your photography. You joined the community, I guess, fairly recently. So, wonderful work. I really love your analog images. The medium format images. Um, where are you based? Maybe just share a few words about yourself with our viewers.
Currently I'm in India, but the all the images that you have seen, I spent like about 12 years in the US, and pretty much everything that you have seen is from there. It's and all those images are pretty much taken in the small rural towns of United States. So
Okay.
pretty much, yeah, yeah.
Okay. And when was it that you started with with photography in general? How many years have you been now, taking images?
It's it's almost like I would say 15 years, but more into documentary style work. It's pretty recently, in the last 3-4 years, I believe. Before that, I was pretty much into landscape, but
Mhm.
in the last 3-4 years, I've kind of started to explore the heart of United States, which is the small rural towns, and traveling is a big part of my photography. So I drive a lot, and that is kind of integrated into what I do pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so when looking at your photographs, I mean, I can feel it. I can feel this kind of fascination with those locations. With exploring those kind of, yeah, often kind of small, probably abandoned locations. I love it. I recently talked to, I don't know if you're familiar, maybe you're familiar with his work, with Mark Forbes. He's a guy who is based in Australia and New Zealand, I guess, or Australia now. There is some parallels between his and your work. Finding those kind of, yeah. Are you familiar with his work?
No, no, I haven't
No.
seen,
Yeah.
but
Okay, I will share it with you once. And
absolutely.
so you started with landscapes and then kind of discovered this new area of exactly traveling around, finding those locations. Was it something that you were looking for, in terms of, landscape is mainly about beauty, about, majesty and wonderful scenes in front of you. Were you looking for some kind of a, contrast, you think?
I think it happened pretty organically, because one of my desires when I was in the US is to travel Route 66, which they call the Mother Road. And a lot of these pictures that you see, some of them are along the Route 66, and some of them are in the offshoots of
Mhm.
those towns. So I do kind of a fair bit of research before I, embark on my journey. And usually, I'm a pretty slow photographer, if you will, because I think the nature of my work, it's designed to be slow. So I try to kind of you know research these places before I start traveling. So, and the best part of what I do is you oftentimes you stumble upon things that you did not expect. So you just
That's usually where the best shots we are finding, right? But yeah, okay. Let's try to like touch on a few things. It's very interesting here. You mentioned, slow photography, slow approach. So you shoot predominantly analog, right? These days.
that's great. Yeah.
Was it? I mean, has this been the case for a long time already? Was it a conscious choice, or you just happened to have an analog camera around? How did it happen? You shoot medium format analog photography these days, right?
That's correct. Yeah. Yep.
Why this choice? Why this choice? How did it happen?
Um, well, I think I got inspired by a few photographers, some of the photography books that I have, in my collection, and also, some of the videos that I have seen from different YouTubers, or not just, I mean, they do not have to be, specifically photography related videos, but there are plenty of channels who, just drive through different locations of, rural America. And that has, always impressed me. And, growing up, I was a huge fan of American movies, Western movies, and the way they incorporate, light and shadows, and it create that sense of mystery, into their scenes.
Yeah.
So I,
So now we are getting to the. I think, yeah, I was trying to figure out, because there's always, I'm convinced there's always this hidden, deep kind of deep level inspirational, story going on. Maybe it was those movies, right? Maybe it was those scenes you notice in those movies, and now it's kind of resurfacing in your own work.
yeah, yeah, it has had a huge impact on me, you know. So, and on top of it, I like to believe that I'm pretty old fashioned in a lot of ways. When you travel to these small towns, it's almost like a time capsule, because these places haven't changed much over the decades, as opposed to, living in the city. And I pretty much lived in cities all my life,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
things are changing so fast over there. And honestly, I'm not saying that there's not any opportunities to shoot there, but after a point, you feel like everything looks pretty much the same. And but when you travel to these small towns, I mean, they have their own way to, preserve what they had built, like maybe 50, 60 years ago.
Mhm. Yeah. No.
um, and there is an organic decay about it. And I don't know, there is something about this decay and the detritus, that it is photographic, and it always tells a story.
Yeah.
And um, and another fascinating aspect of photographing, or documentary style photography, because it 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 hides more than tells you about that scene. So it leaves you with a lot of unanswered questions, and it leaves you for like different interpretations. You look at a scene, and you feel like, somebody must have built it, and what had happened actually, and you do not get a discrete answer about it.
Yeah, I love it. I love your answers, because it's interesting, and that's it's another, kind of proof, that, yeah, we connect with like-minded people, when looking at the images. I mean, when you mentioned those unanswered questions, and stuff, it's exactly what I am looking. I mean, I live in Switzerland here, and I love, absolutely love traveling to those small villages somewhere in the mountains, which haven't changed for decades. It's and then in the end, right, you don't need those answers really. You just want to document those places. We can't even get those answers usually, right?
Yeah, and one very important thing that he mentioned, and that also kind of drives me, because I do have it's a kind of a thirst that I have, because I travel a lot, or in the past few years I've traveled a lot, but it still seems that and America is just so vast that you feel like it's not even 1% of what you have covered. And that's something that I would like to do more in the future. And yeah, it's just unending desire.
Yeah. Well, now you're in India. It's not smaller at all, right?
No, 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 no.
How about India? Does it speak to you as well? Do you want to discover, explore India more?
It does, because there are so many so many Indias inside India, because it's pretty unique in their own way. We have like 28 states here, and every state is different. However, I think like every photographer, they their mindset, that changes over time, right? I mean, what you were shooting like 10 years ago, you not necessarily you are going to, shoot it now, or you have the interest to shoot it now, and you don't know what is going to happen like 10 years down the line. And to me, it's pretty much the same. Like, if I have to like think about like shooting in different parts of India, I need to get into that zone, that psychological zone. But I'm not sure that I'm in that zone right now, but maybe later down the line.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I love it absolutely. Now, so we talked about like the general kind of scenario of things that speaks to you, the look, the thing. But now let's take it one level, you know, closer, lower, in terms of being in one particular location, walking through this place, observing it with your eyes, after doing all of that research and choosing the location. Now you're walking the streets or walking the village or little town or whatever it might be. What are those moments, would you say, that really then catch you and you feel like, okay, there is the image? Would you be able to define this emotional moment, this spark? What's happening? What are those locations or places usually for you?
yeah, great question. It's very arbitrary. You never know. It Sometimes you have these planned shoots that like I'm exactly going to this place, and and then, like I was mentioning, you just stumble upon certain scenes. And I always, um to me, it's not a subject that I'm taking a photograph of. It's more like a scene, and then there might be a central subject in that scene, but then there are little other elements as well in that scene that adds to that entire picture. So I look at it as that, as a combination, as a whole, and there are always, I try to find like finer details in the scene that can add to my picture, that can speak to me.
So it's happening. It's definitely. I feel it's definitely happening on some kind of an emotional level. You just kind of feel the scene. Okay, here we are. That's it, right? And you probably starting to compose it to look for the angle and
Right.
yeah.
And also, like there is also a cultural aspect to that attracts me so much. It's the people. Sometimes I come across people over there, and I found, I in my experience, I found the people in the smaller towns, the rural towns, they are more easy to strike a conversation with. They have seen their lives. I remember there was one experience. I was in a small town called Vinita in Oklahoma, and I found a fascinating restaurants, and those old classic signs and stuff. So I was just scouting the place a little bit, trying to find a composition, and then this old man comes out, and he asks like, "Hey, are you do you want to take a picture of my store?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, it's just so beautiful, and the design is just so unique." And he was just so proud that some guy who is from some foreign country, he has traveled all the way, and we started a conversation, and it was a very beautiful experience.
Oh yeah.
Getting
What
you know
wonderful, right? We would wish for more situations like this in big cities. It's usually the opposite, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This guy, remember, he goes back inside his store and brings back some souvenirs for me and
Oh, nice.
to me. And
Okay,
I asked him like, "Can I take a portrait of you?" And he was so mighty pleased about that, and he was like, "Oh yeah." So
great. Le-
those little
So
stories,
yeah,
it's just so
mm,
fascinating.
I prepared 5 images. So you know, like from your portfolio, from your website, from different parts of the you know of your portfolio. I will show them to you, and then you will probably remember some moments, some emotions, some whatever thoughts. Yeah. So let's have a look. Let me share the screen. Okay, let's start with this image. What comes up to your mind? You know, what do you remember? Just share a few, you know, a story.
Yeah, I remember this pretty vividly. This is where I used to go to develop my films. This is
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah, this is right across the street, and the bizarre and the fantastic part of where I used to live in California. Uh, this place where I used to go develop my films. They used to turn it around in a day, on the same day sometimes.
Wow, that's quick.
Yeah, so I've always kind of stuck to them. They did a fantastic job. It's a place called Dexter's, and I found this car parked right across the street, and this was taken with my Hasselblad. Is a 6x6. So I saw this classic car parked over there, and if you zoom onto it, you will probably see a sign that it's for sale
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. Yeah.
on the rear on the rear window. So I found that and it's pretty, the car kind of stands out, the color, and it's a pretty solitary picture.
Yeah, it's kind of simple, straight on. I love the fact of the, you know, how the color of the car works with the letters on the USA wireless,
Right.
right? Just beautiful, simple. So this was a moment you basically noticed, like suddenly out of blue. You were just walking out of this of your film store, right?
Right? Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. This is totally not anticipated at all. You just see it, and you
So do you happen to have your camera often on you when simply walking around or?
not all the time, but like California in itself is just so scenic, and the American West is a place where you never know what you're gonna get in terms of photographic scenes. So
Oh yeah,
uh,
so many.
always handy to keep your
Nice.
camera.
Okay, now let's have a look another one. A bit different. So where are we here?
Oh, this was right in the middle of the city. This is Hollywood Boulevard. Yeah, and uh, he is probably a pretty well known figure in that in Hollywood Boulevard. A lot of people take pictures with him, but I kind of found him. And I'm the tricky part is, like, I'm not a very like upfront kind of person. I'm pretty shy. That's one of the reasons you won't find like too many portraits in my portfolio, because the whole um, ritual of, like, walking up to a person and then asking him if I can take a portrait. So I was actually in two minds, because I wouldn't have an answer if he came up to me and asked me, like, why are you taking a picture of me without my permission? But in America, you can do that. Street photography is not uh, you know um, frowned upon over there. You can take pictures of people. So I found him in a moment. He was just sitting on the hood of the car. So I was like, okay, uh, let me, uh, you know, try to hide myself as much as I can in the middle of the crowd and take a picture. So I found this angle, and it's one of my favorite ones.
No, it's a wonderful image. I mean, just the moment you caught. But I mean, I have to ask you because it's again, it's a medium format, probably 6x6 analog camera, right?
Right. Yeah.
So there's it's not the smallest camera, it's not the fastest, process or photo taking moment. So you still, and you are, I think, I don't do you remember what lens you are using here?
Yeah. It's a 80 mil Zeiss on a medium format, so I believe it's
Around 50?
around 44, I believe, in full frame. And
Yeah, so you were also relatively close to him, right?
yeah, yeah, and then I think the light was fading pretty fast, and though the I had a I think it's a Cinestil 800 speed camera, so it's a pretty fast speed film, but I also had to, you know, bring down the aperture to around 4.0.
Yeah.
So I had to nail the subject, so I was pretty lucky doing that, because I didn't have too much time to view it.
Yeah. And it's a manual focusing here?
Oh yeah, 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 absolutely.
Yeah, well, then you are quick with a slower camera. It's impressive.
Yeah.
And he's not looking straight into your lens. Maybe I think it's beautiful. I think you should print it out and find him and actually hand over a print.
Oh,
You know, it would be he would be happy. This is beautiful picture. Okay,
yeah.
next one again, something slightly different. Do you remember this moment?
Yeah. So this one, I saw a video by somebody I follow called Nick Carver, and
Yeah, familiar with Nick's content. Yeah.
he's fantastic. I love his work. I he made an entire YouTube video on this location. So I had to find this location. It was around 1.5 hours from where I used to live. So I went there. I remember requesting the owner of the shop to move his car because it was parked right in front of it, and he was kind enough to do that.
Oh, nice. Huh.
And yeah, and I was just waiting for um, the golden hour um, to kind of have the ambient light kind of blend with the artificial light that's on the liquor shop, and that's when I took it. In fact, you mentioned about giving prints. I later on I took a print of it and went back there and gifted one to the owner of the shop. I
Yeah, but
still has it.
very nice. Yeah. No, I think you have a excellent eye when it comes to seeing colors or even predicting what will happen to, because like you said, you were waiting for the blue hour here and what you just combination is a beautiful shot. Do you print your work exactly also for yourself?
Yeah, yeah. I did print quite a few of my works a few months ago. The problem is, it's just uh, becomes unmanageable to keep so much of prints around you. I I, I gave a few to some of my friends, and this is what I enjoy doing because if you look at the shot, there's quite a lot going on. If and these are the finer details that I'm really hooked onto. Even if you see the open sign, um,
Yeah.
it the letters kind of lights up like one at a time. So I had to kind of um, pick my shot at the time when all those four letters of the sign open. Wake up.
Wonderful. You're a perfectionist, yeah. uh,
Yeah.
Beautiful. So is it also the cine still? Do you remember the film
Yeah,
about?
this was shot with the 400D, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it your favorite, film stock?
It depends on the condition, like I usually a Potra 400 is one of the film stock, which is pretty much an all-purpose, film. But I find, especially in overcast conditions or during the magic hours, Cine still does a fantastic job, and I love the halation that comes out of it. It's just an effect I like. Some would argue they don't like it much, but I do love that. So
I love it. Beautiful color science, right here in those shots. Okay, now let's switch to something in monochrome. This is from another portion of your, or, part of your portfolio. Wonderful shot. But before we, talk about this one, so um, how often do you decide, or when do you decide on black and white versus color? What's the thought process for you?
uh the short answer is, like, when it's overcast, there's almost no color outside. I tend to go for black and white, because it's almost like if you're the scene is pretty much gray. Not much color out there. I don't see a point like going with the colored version. That's when I convert it to black and white. But this one is digital. I shot this in Colorado.
Okay.
Yeah, that was in a ranch. I got a, and it was about to, you could see the storm clouds, coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So it was um a beautiful moment.
No, here I was looking at this shot, before we started recording for a few minutes. I somehow, the more I look at it, I love the fact, and you can tell me if maybe nobody noticed it, maybe you did. The ridges of the mountains in the background, how they kind of align with the back of the horse, and it becoming one of those lines, almost like a ridge of another mountain.
Right.
I
Right.
just love it. It's
Thank you. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It all
nice.
kind of replicates this kind of a silhouette of
Exactly. No, love it. Love it. It's beautiful shot. Okay. The last one I have here already is it's yeah, there's a person. We have for the first time a person in the picture. So you said you are a little bit, people shy. I can relate very well. So when does it happen? How does it happen that you actually interact with a person or try to, maybe work on a project with of portraits like that? Is it a separate project, or how do you approach people photography?
Oh, well, this shot, I went on a trip. It was almost like a 2-week trip, and I kind of like pushed myself, and it was kind of a almost a mental preparation that I kept on telling myself that I have to include some people, to kind of add some more dimension to my story. So he was I we stayed at his hotel. It's a place called Tucumcari in New Mexico, and it was relatively easy to take his picture because I had lots of conversations with him. He also helped me find some local places where I could go and shoot. So he knew what I was there, what my purpose of my trip. So it was pretty, easy to convince him to, give me a portrait.
And actually, it's a nice approach, right? Because the moment we feel like we have built some kind of a connection with a person,
You're right.
the whole photograph, the final image, it also kind of gets an entirely different meaning. I mean, the person in a way, so you can kind of
Oh,
right read the person, you feel the person already a little bit, and vice versa, yeah, right? There is connection already,
oh yeah.
and I think I can feel it in this beautiful environmental portrait. Wonderful light again. Um, yeah, Ash, listen, wonderful work. I mean, really, I'm impressed, and thank you so much once more for joining the Frames community. That's where I, on Facebook and then on your Instagram account, I looked at more of your work. So, what's on the horizon? What's on the horizon? Like, so you're now in India. Are you heading back to the US at some point, or what's the plan?
Maybe in the near future, but I do have some plans. I might move to Europe and in the UK in the coming months. I've never been to UK or Europe, so uh, I'm kind of excited about it because maybe I'll discover something that I'll begin to enjoy. And and one of my plans is to move into also like large format, and it'll slow me. It's even slower process, right? So I've been pondering about large format for a couple of years, but like going on trips with a large format camera, I don't know, it's not that portable. I mean, I'm pretty content with what I have. Yeah, I was, honestly, I was pretty much a gearhead until 2021. I believe I was always looking into Nikon rumors and what's the next best thing. But honestly, once I moved on to analog, it just like slowly disappeared. I don't really care these days about
Yes.
even
Well,
my Nikon. I do have a pretty good camera, digital camera, the D850. It's a fantastic. It's a beast. But even that is kind of gathering dust these days.
yeah, well, nice. But one question here, because yeah, I do also play myself, as I told you already. So I have now the Mamiya 6x6.
Okay.
This is my early steps. I immediately got hooked on this process as well, on the this slowing down. I love it. Where I am still a little bit struggling, and I wonder how you go about it. Also coming, from digital yourself, right? The amount of visual opportunities in front of you, because I mean, you are a sensitive, obviously sensitive person. You notice stuff, but shooting then, and especially on medium format, 12 images on a roll or whatever it might be, you have to really trim it down. You have to really select. What about the frustration of not being able of capture all those other things that you noticed? How do you deal with that? Or do you still shoot with your phone just for the sake of capturing those locations, or not? Because I am struggling here a little bit.
Yeah, Thomas, I'll be honest. I mean, the cost of film it doesn't help you at all. I mean, it's just exponentially. It's just on the rise. However, I over time have kind of abandoned some of my um, focus on the finances because it's something I'm so passionate about. I have kind of neglected that quite a bit. So I do tend to have a few stocks always handy, and so even right now, I mean, I've not picked up my camera for last couple of months, but I do keep like plenty of film stocks. So
Okay, so on a road trip like that, in the US, so you tend to shoot quite a lot still on film.
oh yeah, yeah, of course.
Okay.
I remember last time my wife was pretty shocked when I was going to develop them all. There were like 46 rolls of films that I had to develop from the kit.
Well, as long as she was not shocked about the credit card statement, then it's fine, right? But yeah, I know what you're talking about. No, but it's still, of course, in digital, we can basically shoot, right? Whenever we feel like, oh yeah, there's a photograph. So it's interesting, but I think exactly this process of slowing us down, it's so valuable in the end, because we then tend to, right? We tend to look even with more caution, even
Yeah, yeah.
more selective eye, and hopefully it results in even better work, right?
Right. And I think the best part of film and analog is especially in harsh conditions, I believe the the chemicals, it's just scientific, how it blends with light. The highlights roll off is pretty smooth, as opposed to digital where these are pixels, so the fall offs are pretty abrupt.
Mhm.
So I think those are the reasons that just why analog looks so aesthetically pleasing, even though you are not shooting in the best of conditions. So this, I can go on and on and on.
Yeah, yeah, nice.
So
So
many.
the next step is, you know, developing those stocks yourself.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much in the back burner for a long time. But
But that's yet the entire another level, right? And especially color.
oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, wonderful, Ash. Thank you so much. It's really once more beautiful work. I mean, I reacted immediately, and I'm kind of looking forward to the every next image now you share. So we definitely stay in touch. Let's see. I would love to do something with your work once, maybe in the magazine. It would be wonderful. Absolutely, congratulations on great images, great eye and sensitivity to everything what a good photograph involves. So. Thank you so much for recording this conversation. We stay in touch, and yeah, good luck with your all of your projects, and photographic, endeavors in the future. Yeah, yeah.
thanks a
Thank you
lot.
so much. Okay, talk soon. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye bye.